and thanks a lot. I mean, she told you guys like too much about me. I'm just a simple man, to be honest. So try to keep things very simple and very original for most of the time. So with that note, first and foremost, I would like to have a big thank you to Dr. Shukla, to be in this presence of all of us and coming all the way from Jhansi. मतलब झांसी मैं भी गया हूँ गाड़ी से और 10-12 घंटे कार से यहाँ तक आना मतलब बहुत आसान नहीं है, तो आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you and thank you to everyone over here who are the part of this basically audience today and here to help me launch this book, which is nothing but the culmination of almost like 19 years. So the seed of the book actually got into place, honestly speaking, in 2007 and 2008. There was a recession going on globally, and my CEO at that time, he was asking me that Abhishek, there are so many problems, and especially in the IT industry, there is a big talent problem. There is always a talent problem. So what do we do? Like, what do we really ensure? The likes of Tatas and Birlas, wherein the culture is very, very prominent, the value system is very prominent. What should we really do to make things happen for us and to ensure that we are having the right people and the processes around? And that's something which intrigued me. I was very young. I mean, like pretty young for that type of a question directly from the CEO and the head of the board at that time for a very reputed organization. So, and then from there on, from 2008 and 9, it kept ringing in my mind that what's that something we really need to look for so as to enable and ensure that whatever relationship we are entering into, it's the right relationship. It's a relationship which we can look for, trust upon, and something which can provide us some output, over the end of, I would say, 1 year, 2 years, or whatever time frame. And that's where it all started. So I didn't have an answer, to be honest with you, at that time. Fast forward, 2013, I was traveling, if I remember correctly, from London to New York at that time, and the Credit Suisse, chief people officer was sitting next to me. So we started again the same discussion, and he was talking about the European problems. So I was in Europe for some time earlier, but that was long back. And he started again saying about people problems. How do we ensure that the graduates from the colleges, how do we tap the right talent? And again, something similar, that what should we look for as an ingredient for more of, I would say, a successful, not only professional life, but overall, successful and fulfilled life, both professionally and personally. So I thought, okay, let me try it out. And by that time, I actually had interacted by virtue of my different roles and positions, across the globe and the different companies, with almost around like, almost 20,000 people in some capacity. Either I was influencing them in some manner or directly talking to them. And that's where I thought that when I speak to someone next time, what is that I need to look for? Just to keep it very simple. And that's where the integrity came into the picture. So 3I is nothing but it's basically, it's a combination of 3 basic fundamental value aspects that all of us, we have. Even a person who is pulling the rickshaw, he would have it. And most of the time they display this actually. Because they have nothing to display but this. So 3I is nothing but intent, intelligence and integrity. Intent is something wherein, it's again, from the word perspective, you can say it's passion, it's something that you really look for. But the point is, it is our willingness. Intent is nothing but our willingness to ensure that if we are into something, we are doing it right. And the definition of right could be anything, guys. I mean, definition of right, for a thief is like stealing something. But again, his intent is clear. Definition of maybe a sports person, the definition of intent for a sports person can be that I need to win this medal, and then he puts all the mechanisms to do that. But his willingness to achieve something, that's where the intent is. Even a housewife at house, right? Intent is to ensure that everything is in order. Kids are getting grown up rightly, they are getting educated rightly. Idea is the willingness to make things happen rightly. So that's intent. And intelligence is, again, it's a very common virtue. I'm not saying one really has to be like very sharp. It is about the know-how of our surroundings and how we can reciprocate with our surroundings. I was talking to a rickshaw puller, and the maths of that person is better than most of the folks in US. I'm talking about a rickshaw puller in India. मतलब हिंदी में अगर बोले तो उसका गणित वहाँ पर जो 10th के बच्चे हैं उनसे भी बेटर है, हमारे यहाँ जो एक रिक्शा पुल करने वाला है. So that's the intelligence, your ability to connect with the surroundings without putting a lot of logics, and you have readiness to answer, to basically respond to that. And then integrity. Integrity is basically, it's something, if we don't have integrity, intelligence and intent, it's of no use. You're honest to yourself first and foremost. If you're not honest to yourself, to what you do, to what you are into, nothing is going to happen. I mean, things will happen, but not with the right success that we desire for. And these are very small steps, folks. I mean, if we really bring all these three eyes together and start conversing, maybe an aspirant, somebody who is a job seeker, or a college goer, somebody who just passed the class 12 and he or she wants to go to the college, they have to come into this fold of 3R in order to make a big and robust, successful, fulfilled life. For a housewife, for the marriages, you can apply this formula anywhere, in any sort of relationship, if you really want that relationship to be successful and fulfilled. And first and foremost, the relationship is with you. If you are not honest to ourselves, whom would we be honest with? We all talk, we all basically read a lot of things, we all say a lot of good things, but do we really implement and execute those things? There is a saying that you need to practice before you preach, and then exhibit those values. 98% of the population in the world, they don't do that. We will all say good things, but do we really do it? Do we really mean it? And that's the reason. And I started applying this formula. Honestly speaking, my biggest, I should not say, testing experiment was the judge. After all 15, 16 years of experience, it's been like almost 7 years with judge. And if I think, maybe our first 10 people who were hired, if they remember correctly, I was very honest that this is the 3I, this is what I'm looking for. Do we have an agreement? And that's what it is. I mean, that really gave me the confidence, and that's where I started penning it down. Wherever I was in the plane, whenever I got some time, I started just putting my thoughts on the papers. Took me around 7 years to bring all those papers together and got them into the shape. But COVID did help me because I was not traveling, and I thought that let me compile what I've written all this while. So that's basically the journey, my friends. So that's all. Thank you once again.